Hello, hello. I think this is it. This is another session of Stop Losing, Start Trading with me, Guillaume Lambert, and Rosalie Mosner, aka Crypto Queen. Today we'll describe how we see trading here at Panoptic, how we can make money when we're wrong, but still, how someone should think about options as a way to diversify their investment, their portfolio. Could be for speculation, could be for risk management. We try to cover it all. Everything we say here, of course, is not financial advice, but you're more than welcome to listen to what we say. The intern, Panoptic intern, sometimes listens to us, and they've been trading pretty well. Thanks to Rosalie. So yeah, without further ado, we're a bit late from this morning, but anything we'll do here is again going to be on the trade show, but we have the options hour afterwards. Sorry. Yeah. First of all, Rosalie, how are you? I should have been a bit more gallant here. How are you doing?
That's okay, no worries. I'm good. I'm good. Busy morning. A lot's happening today. So yeah, I'm just really curious to see kind of how the market's doing, but afterwards, if intern listened to any of my wonderful advice or not financial advice.
I
But
mean, this is free advice, so you're free to do exactly what we say or the opposite if you want to make money and you think we're a bunch of bad traders. This is all free. We don't charge anyone, so you're free to use that information whichever way you want. Let me go over the intern. Speaking of which, let's not forget we have the leaderboard with pips that's accumulating. Let me zoom in a little bit. We have the top 10 here. Again, we can peek at them, but the sellers and the market makers are the ones earning more pips, which makes sense. We reward the risk taking that is involved with selling options. But if we go down the list, I think Intern is doing pretty well in terms of climbing up the ladder. They're already ranked 39th on the ladder here with no boost. So they are farming points the very, very not inefficient, but very pure way. And then from there, we can just click on that name here to be a spectator, to spy on them. And yeah, so we had a good week last week where it seemed like all the positions were working in our favor or we're wrong, but still not losing. So we decided to close a few of them. Um, and yeah, so this is the PNL of the whole portfolio, $12 because all that's been realized is this is the open PNL, I guess. Everything that's been realized is in our uh, wallet. You can see, yeah. Maybe let's start with Rosalie. What do you see here? What do you want to look at first in terms of management of this portfolio?
yeah, I'm curious. I think the ticker Bitcoin trade was doing really good for a while. It's
Oh,
kind of been losing a little bit now. I'm curious.
let's have a look. So this is we can see the positions being open. Uh-oh. Never seen that error before. Apologize. So this is the app. So we can see the transactions that Intern has been doing in Bitcoin, and they closed one again a day ago with 4% profit, made 0.007 ETH in profit. So now this is a new one that they've opened up. But yeah, the history of all the transactions can be seen here, where where Intern deposited, did one, two, three successful trades. Maybe a fourth one is coming. But this is how you can track the positions. We can see how much their deposits has grown over the past, I guess, whatever month and a half. 14% more Bitcoin, 25% more ETH. This is actually pretty good. But yes, we have one position that has been opened, which was, from the looks of it, a bit more bearish. But yeah, let's have a look at this new position that Intern has opened a day ago. Yeah, and then now your experience without even looking, what's that position called, and how should we manage this?
Yeah, so this is a strangle. Um, it is still in range, but profits are going a little bit down a negative slope. So
Yeah, this is a delta neutral. This is the negative delta strangle. So it's a bit more like a neutral to bearish trade because it was set up a bit offset from the center. This was a trade that wanted the price to go down. It did go up a little bit, nothing to worry about, but that means that the assumption was maybe a bit wrong. And in that case, we're earning fees, which is good. That helps offset, but we're still losing a tiny bit of money, a few dollars maybe. But yeah, it's in range. There's not much more to do. So that's kind of the I think the intern probably saw the price underperforming day after day after day. So maybe keeping the neutral to bearish is one trade there. So yeah, that's kind of fine. Nothing more to say about this one. Yeah, let's see.
Anything else that is negative? How about we look at the USDC?
Yeah. So this I spoke with intern actually. So we had two positions that now we're gonna go the same way. We can see the history of what was traded, which positions were open and closed, by looking at here the transactions when you spy at the intern. Um, they did close the two positions that were open with some level of profit, which is great. So they closed two positions, tiny bit of profit. If you remember, this was a delta neutral trade. Price went down. We were wrong, but we still made a bit of money because of fees. So even though it seems like we're losing, it's not a loss because we're kind of, this was an offset to kind of preventing further losses, which is great. But they did open a new position as well, and then I'm going to try to talk through it the best way I understand this. But this position here, it's a credit spread where, not unlike the one we did in Bitcoin, where we intern purchased liquidity that was out of range for free and moved it closer to the range to be earning fees and money as the trades happen. And if you remember, we did not ask intern to do this. And what happened is that they were stuck in a position, which I find myself stuck every once in a while, but any traders out there could still happen, where these positions are earning extra fees because someone purchased that position. And we can click on that button here. But this call in particular, 1.27 ETH worth of calls. So 4K, 3K worth of calls being sold, but then a lot of it was purchased by speculators, people betting on the upside. But because of that, intern was not able to fully close their two positions. The buying activity removes liquidity from Uniswap. So when you're selling an option, you want to be able to close it. But because it was removed, intern was not able to fully close. This is a problem that is kind of due to the fact that there's no expiry. Normally, you would wait for the expiry to come, but this one did not have an expiry. What intern did was to sell just enough options so that they could close their other two. So again, selling an option is adding liquidity. Buying an option is removing liquidity. So now intern could not close or kind of get back the liquidity they deployed. So they sold a bit more, closed their two positions. And the way that they did this was through a credit spread, which is buying this option for free, moving it in range. It's very neutral because you have no slope here. And ideally, you want a price to either go down and be realizing a small little profit, or someone else maybe may sell and they can close this with minimal impact. So we haven't, it's the first time we've seen this where, as a seller, you take some risk for price movement, but also some risk for closing. So again, in your case, Rosalie, so this is the first time we've seen this. It's a bit more medium to advanced. But is there anything that's unclear or that you don't necessarily followed, or it's pretty straightforward at this point?
No, so it's pretty straightforward. I think so. Intern was created this very delta or very neutral slope so that the people could close without having to pay extra, and just so I guess for a minimal impact, but add liquidity.
And yeah, and I think the best way to think about this is that you're stuck with a call in a way, and that call is negative delta. If the price moves, you have a short call. Maybe you can cover it and buy the amount, and that's maybe what Intern did. But yes, the way to minimize exposure because you have a short call is to either just sell just enough of it and then limit the risk on the upside in case it does moon. But if it were just that and we're stuck with it for a long time, maybe we need a different trade to offset the risk. Maybe have a positive delta trade to bring the total deltas to neutral. But yeah, or this is kind of kind of sizable. So I would say that maybe we should do another trade to offset some of the risk to make even a flatter payoff. But yeah, normally this is in range, meaning that the current price is still within the boundaries. So that's the only solution for your position being unclosable. You reduce size. This is what happens on the UI. You reduce size. You sell just enough. You close. Or if it were out of range, you can force exercise. There's a lot more recourses. But if it's in range, in theory, you're still earning money. It might not be the risk you want, but at least you're getting paid. So in that case, since we've minted it a day ago, we have $3 out of that no $800 worth of requirement, so it's still earning fees. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
so yeah, this is one. If it's a very liquid market where there could be just a tiny amount purchased, so it's fine to close it. But yes, if it's a very active market, sometimes it's a bit hard. So that's kind of what we seem to be seeing here with Intern. So their position or their portfolio is looking like that. Maybe are you okay with this payoff? Maybe Rosalie, in your intuition, is neutral to bearish in this case a good kind of intuition or a good feeling about the ETH price, or you would be more neutral, more bearish, more bullish? What do you think?
I would like to see a little bit more of a range there, but I understand why this position was created, so everything makes sense. I would add another position so that there might be more upside.
More upside, yeah. There you go. And this is the portfolio level PNL, which is multiple positions. So here we have one that is that kind of payoff. We can definitely add more to it to shape that to exactly the payoff we want. So we can construct any payoff. So let's jump right into it because I think the other positions there's not much to do. So yeah, now we have to remember we have some negative upside, and we don't want to maybe forget about it. But yeah, if you were to create one position to bring it either a bit more neutral or even more bullish, would you do again buying a put, buying call, selling a put, buying call, or strangle, or what do you think would you want to enter into?
Probably a strangle since I like multi-legged positions a little bit more.
Okay. And the way that we have the strangle is that it's two legs. We can move them whichever way we want. I personally like as well to be one on top of the other. So there's like it's one trade that you manage. You don't have two legs that are two different. So that's one way. But yeah, so this is very neutral. Is this what you'd like to see, or would you be offset one way or the other?
I think if I looked at the liquidity in the back, yeah, I think that's a good point. Or maybe, no, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so these two are earning 1x, so there's not much opportunity.
Okay.
But yes, the way you see some liquidity, you click on it. But yeah, this one looks neat, right? Or at least if you can see.
Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I couldn't see the Vega.
Yeah, so here it's 1.3x on that specific leg. The put is again, no one is buying puts. I guess you would be making money on the way down, but that's fine. So the put is 1x, so no extra buying. But yes, this one has some juice to it. 23% more returns than Uniswap, which again, it's huge. You have a way to offset your risk by earning more, and that's kind of the only thing you can control. And as well, it's a bit on the bullish side because it's offset, so you have some positive deltas here. The range is still pretty wide between, I don't know, 1600 and 2600. I don't know if we're going to hit these numbers soon enough, but it is now maybe, yeah, a good position to hedge the purely negative delta we had in the previous position. Now we collect more fees. and also some positive deltas here being captured. So yeah.
Would it make sense to do any type of call spread in this case, or no?
Yeah, I mean the call spread could be inverted. So let's see. This is one neutral bearish. If we preload the call spread, it's looking like another bearish trade. So we can use the same leg here. Same leg here, earning 23%. This is a little bit what we created already, upside risk where you lose the most. But you can actually invert this, and you could still have an in the money call and an at the money call as well, and still buy liquidity. Typically, there's less liquidity in the money, but you could still buy this. And now you would have a call spread on the right and an inverted call spread on the left. And without going too much into detail, this is a butterfly trade. But that is where we have defined risks. You can lose a maximum of, again, it scales, but you have a capped risk on the upside, you have capped profits on the downside as well. But combined with the existing one, you may have kind of no risk on each side, maximum profits somewhere in the middle. And that's another trade, which is defined risk. You're more capital efficient. You'll be paying a bit more here on the call side because it's in the money, it's paying fees right away. I would say that you would pay 1.28x on the put side that you buy, call side that you buy, but also get paid 1.21. So you'd be negative a little bit.
Okay.
And
So
then,
a strangle might be better in this
yeah,
case.
and strangle is definitely more risky, and then it's not something that you should default all the time. But at least this one has more returns in terms of fees, but also again, do you think the price is going to go below 1600 or above 2600 within a month's time?
It might go below 1600 at some point, but it probably will come back.
Oh my god! I don't know when we've last seen 1600. Uh, in I'm on CoinGecko. Maybe in October of 2023. Oh my god! This
Okay.
is last time we visited that. So
Then I'll take it back. Maybe not. Maybe I should be a little bit more bullish on ETH. There's a lot
we'll
of good
see.
stuff.
But the options are there's definitely macro events. There's a lot of things that can happen. Uh, Inflation is working in our side, I guess, makes the price pump. But yes, I'd say for intern, this looks like a good trade. They could even be even more bullish and be almost out of range here, but still have a lot of positive deltas here, some level of flatness, and now the price would be between 1800 and 2900. So again, I'm of the favorite. I'm of the idea it's probably going to be going lower than 1850, maybe at some point. 16 less likely, but yeah. So I would say, hey, intern, or anyone that listens. Actually, we haven't done it in a while, but this is the trade that intern could do. And because they may not be watching this live, let me paste this in the chat. We have to figure out the Twitter chat. I know that most of the listeners are on Twitter, but it's now on YouTube forever. You can actually see it. Click on it, play with it, have fun, and you can mint that slightly in the money strangle for some upside potential in ETH.
Awesome. Looks good.
Yeah, and okay, so one last thing. So we'll jump to the trade show afterwards with the options hour with Brendan. I forget that we have a BTC ETH ratio pair. Some people were ecstatic on Twitter because it seemed like the ratio was going up, which is not something we've seen in a long time. Oh wait, have we been lied to? It did not go up that much. It went down. So our trade, I think, was also a bit bearish, and we started here. Price went down indeed. This one is working well for us again. 2% in a few days, 10 days, pretty good. Yeah, okay. So we don't see that much crisis management. We've seen it maybe once or twice, but we were positioned in a way that was not overextended. So I thought we were going to have some interesting play here, but not. Uh, Interestingly, someone has sold a very, very narrow position in the money. That's interesting. But yeah, anyways, that's it for now. Again, maybe back to the next trade. Maybe intern will do it. Is there another market There's Ticker Bitcoin and Eigen, but is there another market that we maybe look at? I think Pepe was one that we discussed, but are you still Pepe wanting to trade Pepe or maybe some other things or
Yeah, I think I would be interested in Pepe. I also see the ETH USDC pool is earning some points there. So
yeah. There's BTC USDC as well.
mhm,
And we haven't
yeah,
done any trade there. We do there's some liquidity, actually, a healthy amount, lots of strikes. Some people are indeed trading the Bitcoin price, which is, again, you do the same trade on there, but if you want. That's interesting.
yeah, this looks.
So maybe, yeah, if you were to trade Bitcoin now, the price, any target you have in mind over the next month, bullish, bearish, neutral?
Um, more neutral to bearish.
Okay. And then go to strategy, and I would also do the same thing. Strangle maybe. Um, and again, we can certainly. There's a bit of buying. Yeah, people are buying calls like always, like clockwork almost. They want to see the upside. This would be a bit more neutral to bullish, but yeah, we can still have neutral to bearish. But yeah, that's another trade. I don't think we'll do. Intuit will do it because it's a new market. They have to deposit. They have to find the funds. But yes, don't forget, you can trade any asset that is on Uniswap. In that case, BTC USDC. Nice round numbers, 100K calls would be also what people buy. Maybe I should sell some of those, actually. The round numberness of this. But yeah, very very cool. Yeah, thanks a lot, Rosalie. We've made it, meaning that we have some trades. They make money even though we're wrong. This is the goal of options. And then let's introduce Brendan for the options hour. So, hey, Brendan, how are you doing today?
Hello. It is a good Wednesday. I don't know if you can see my face. Can you see my face here?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, sweet. Because my internet is always bad, so I can't see my own face. But that is great. Yes,
Be
welcome to the
vampire.
Options Hour segment. And we'll be covering the markets and maybe some things in the news going on in crypto, some exciting events, and we'll get Guillaume's hot takes on these events. So with today, April 2nd, yesterday was April Fool's, lots of fun announcements from different crypto companies. I don't know, were there any particular April Fool's jokes that you saw or enjoyed?
So I for some reason yesterday was a crazy day. So I don't know how someone does do it. I spent maybe 10 minutes on Twitter the whole day, so I did not see any of it. But I was caught by a real April Fools. So I use Spotify and they have a DJ AI curation DJ tool. I don't know if you pay for Spotify Premium or not, or you try the DJ one.
No, I just have the free one.
Okay, yeah.
I
Gotta
wasn't
skip those bad songs and also get rid of those ads.
Yes, it's very annoying.
Good investment. So, but the DJ one also makes you like playlist, but then discover. So, the first song they played, like this is one of my. It's a weird. I'm gonna butcher the accent too, but it's like this is one of my favorite song. Take it easy, and then they played like elevator music. And it was like it took me double take, took me like I don't know 30 seconds to say, wait, what is this? And then I
Who stole my account?
I skipped and said, hey, this was April Fool's, and then he went on to the real program. So the AI are playing pranks on us. Where does it stop?
That is, yeah, AI is getting crazy. So I'm
Next
a
time
little
they make
worried.
a bunch of paper clips and we'll be buried, the whole world in paper clips.
Oh my gosh. Well, exciting. Well, Trump also wanted to avoid this kind of issue
Oh,
of making a big announcement on April Fool's Day, causing more uncertainty. So, pushing back the tariff announcement to April 2nd, which is today. The White House has said about 2 p.m. Was it 2 p.m.
oh, okay. I
1
figured
p.m.?
like the markets were kind of mid and nothing catastrophic. So I didn't watch the news and I was expecting April 1st too, but yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yes,
You want to
they
be
didn't
taken
want to
seriously.
confuse people more.
No,
So,
the markets are
markets are down.
up. The
Well,
real like
yes.
non crypto markets. So I too I'll definitely be paying attention. But yeah.
Yeah, people are on their feet. Markets opened a bit lower on the end, and then they came back up in the last couple of hours. Maybe they know something, maybe they don't. Was a gradual increase. So we are up on the day. Bitcoin had a big jump, hitting over 86,000. We're up over 2% on the day. So we're nearly at 87,000. I think we actually touched 87 for a couple of minutes, and we have been hitting that ceiling. So a lot of bullishness, or maybe market manipulation. Who knows? On
No,
the
I think
Bitcoin
this is like
price.
in anticipation of any event. It's like an earnings or even the Fed chair call. People are not trading as much, so it might be not manipulation, but you can move the market in a way that seems maybe counterintuitive because no one is trading; they are just waiting on the sidelines. That's why volatility at the same time increases because a I don't know 15 million trade can push the price of a stock around in a way that normally would not budget at all because no one else is trading and even the market makers aren't uh, adding rest. So yeah, I would likely see sell the news type of thing. So even though it's up now, I would expect some play on the downside if I were a betting man after two, regardless of whether
Interesting.
it's same less terrorists, more terrorists, whatever. Because now people are waiting on the sidelines. I think they will all sell afterwards.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so volumes are quite low, at least in the options market here, comparatively. I think people are waiting on the
So
sidelines.
is this the IBIT
Very
one or is this the whole market?
Yes, sorry, this is the IBIT. So this is the Bitcoin options. So much lower volume here. The IV is still, I think it was around this range last week when we discussed. It was quite low. It's still relatively quite low with the percentile of 12, IV rank of 20, 24 almost. So things are a bit quiet. Um, yeah. Any thoughts on this options data and what it has to say about
No,
this?
and then
And
it's fine. Again, it's the less volume a little bit. Even the put call ratio 0.5. Oh yeah, no, it's not. One would be 1 to 1, I guess. So 0.5 is still quite heavily skewed toward calls, so that's fine. I don't know. It's like same thing we had with Tom Sosnoff as well. If I were to tell you exactly what Trump's gonna say, you cannot even predict the market. So that's why um, what
so is it a
happens.
question of, is Trump going to say things crazier than expected, or is he going to dial it down? Is that going
But
to
even
drive?
if I told you, how do you trade this? If it's crazier, is it bullish or bearish?
So would that more volatility? So we buy volatility or no?
Uh, or you sell this. You expect the volatility to decrease. Like same thing. The day after earnings, like there's a huge drop, not just of price necessarily, but of volatility, even if the price goes up or down. So yeah, a similar thing. But yeah, I would say that the if the big event today is the Liberation Day speech, then yes, I would expect the. I don't know what the market would do. My take is it's going to be a bit bearish, but someone else because it's bullish, whatever, and without even knowing what the results of that chat of that speech is going to be.
But I
But
think you're saying a lot of these events tend to be nothing burgers, or at least they induce less realized vol than was actually expected. So sometimes selling the volatility, selling a straddle like you're showing intern, um,
yeah,
something like
unfortunately,
that.
the IV is still kind of low too on the IBIT. So who knows? Maybe Bitcoin is not necessarily the one thing you trade, but actually,
So I mean, with the equities markets, so I'll switch over to
no, that's
here.
right. Maybe
There is
let
some.
me put my mouth where my money in my mouth is. So I'm gonna sell some vol on IBIT, and I'm gonna be quite right strangle. Let's see how it goes. Expiring in May, so the
Oh, that's a little bit far out.
40 to 60 strangle on Bitcoin. Let me see if that's gonna kill me or not. But uh, all right, put this in. There we go. I
That
expect
was
the
fast.
volatility to collapse, which is if it does happen, I'll make money. If not, I could lose. But yes, this is the.
And why put out a little bit further? Like, why give yourself the 40 days instead of
I mean, the
maybe?
vol structure is pretty. I would not do 1 day because you can still get hammered by a huge, huge move, and that huge move, it's done. There's not much more juice to it if it leaves your range. So I like to be a bit longer dated, and I was kind of wide so that there's some tiny bit of vega there. Because if the price goes down, I said 40 to 60. If the price goes to 45, if I do a short dated, I'm in the money immediately. If I'm kind of wide or longer term, I'm still out of the money. So it's just a different style of play. But I would say at the same 40 to 60 uh, trade on the 2 days from expiry on Friday would not be would be extremely risky in my sense.
Okay, and the further out expiry typically has a higher IV than the.
It depends. This one
closer
this one
term?
has a lower than the shorter dated one, and 45 days.
Okay, so we're inverted this
No,
right
it's
now.
typically at the beginning, very close to expiry. It's higher, then it dips down, and then it goes back up at like yearly.
Okay,
So the minimum IV looks like is in May 9th, early May, and then the max is April 4th this week, but also it picks back up and it's back to the April 4th one a year from now. So, anyways, it's a
okay, so you're choosing a relatively low point though
yeah,
on the
exactly.
term smile. Okay, well, we'll have to follow up with this on
Oh my
maybe
god.
Friday or next
Yes,
Wednesday.
exactly. I mean, we don't want to do Tasty Trade too, but yeah, I use Tasty Trade for these trades, and you could we can, we can do all of these show hosts too that do exactly what we do as well. But yeah, discuss that trade when it's time. But yeah,
All right. Well, there was something I wanted to discuss. The analysts, so-called analysts, are looking at options data in the equities, and they're seeing that the options market is showing potentially a very big move on the S&P, Nasdaq, etc., up to 1.6 to 2.1%. I was just curious, how do the analysts get these numbers? Like, how do you take options data and get some type of evaluation of how much the spot price could potentially move? Are they looking at like IVs? What
no,
metric
that's
would?
right. There's not much you can. This is a bit not BS, but it's implied and it's not super weird, super clear. And even though the market says something, it's still probabilistic. And no, I'd say that the if you think it's gonna go down, you short or you sell or you do one trade. If you do the options later, it's slightly different. So it's just looking at the expected IV of that one event, and you have like the shorter dated option. They have zero DTE, so the one that expires today for S&P 500 has a premium that is different than if you were to expire 2 days from now and stuff. So this is how you see the one event extra volatility, and that 1.6% might just be that the IV is X fraction higher. That means that on average, the expected move is not, I don't know, 0.5% today, or maybe it's not 2% today, but 3%. That's how they see the market pricing it. But it's they didn't say up or down either. It's just the volatility might be increased, but it's increased all the time for any reason. So the
Okay, so a little bit of BS, but the IVs are pricing it a little bit more.
and if you look at that
Uh,
news, it's like it's gonna move by 1.6% more. They don't say up or down. So as a user, that you don't, do you buy, do you sell, or in the case of options, there's like clear trades you do, but not everyone use options. So yeah, it's a it's a yeah, just people want to write about some level of risk,
I
but
guess if you thought there would be a greater than 1.6% move, does that mean you should buy vol? And then if you think there's less
oh
than a
yeah,
1.6,
but it's not accessible. Not everyone can. Not everybody that reads Business Insider has the ability to trade volatility or at least buy or sell options. So
yes, I was reading. They were quoting the report from JP Morgan. JP Morgan was recommending you sell straddles.
were they?
Yeah,
Oh my
they
god!
give you these I don't know if they have a disclaimer, but we do. This is not financial advice. Do your own research.
It's again, straddles are like probably the most risky one because you can be wrong both ways in a way. So if you're just very bullish in nature, you sell puts, and then again, market collapses, you lose. That's fine. But yes, there's a short on the upside too. So interesting.
Yeah, Don't quote me. Maybe they were recommending buying straddles, but they definitely had a straddle recommendation in there for their
All right, I
readers.
don't know what doing a trade, but one thing that you could do on Panoptic too, or here, you can do a butterfly, which is a lower risk version of a straddle, and you have some maximum upside and downside risk capped, but then you have some benefit if the volatility were to collapse. So, anyways, butterflies, it's like the I think I tweeted about this. There's 1,000 different opportunities to arb the market. And then if you do butterflies versus calendars versus spreads, like it's all in a weird way so much space to work with that there's like 25 different ways to benefit. But yeah, butterfly is one of those short vega, like meaning if the volatility collapses, you make money, but also define risk trade. But yeah.
What's the trade-off between a butterfly and selling a straddle? Are you just getting less fees, or are you paying more premium on the
You get less fees, and then it's going to be less returns and less potential. But the upside is that you have no infinite loss. If the price does go to zero or does go to infinity, you don't lose all of your money. You just lose a limited amount. So it's a defined risk. So you pay for protection that has a cost that cuts into your profit potential. It's all very, very kind of efficient in that way.
So safer straddle, but you pay a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh, the butterfly wings. It's all, again. That's why it's called butterfly. It can be very, very wide, and you have less protection, more exposure, but then more profits. Or it can be extremely tiny. And if I were to do a $1 wide butterfly on S&P 500, I have a 88% chance of losing, and if I make money, I can make up to, I don't know. No, if I lose $8 at the most, but an 88% chance of being wrong. So it's all a trade-off.
Trade-off, so you can increase your probability of profit, decrease your potential earnings.
Yeah, and it's 88%, only 12% probability of profit. It's too low for me, so I wouldn't trade this. But yeah,
very cool. And you can do this on Panoptic, trade butterflies.
yes. You need some liquidity for buying, but yeah, we can go. Let me try to see if I can set up a butterfly. We don't do it by default because it's a weird 3-legged one, and it could be confusing. But yeah, let me share. Sorry. Yeah, this is the ETH pool. I'll do auto snap off so that I can do anything I want. But yes, a butterfly would be buying a put, and then you sell 2 puts, and then you buy another one. So the 1 put low strike, sell 2 puts at the money, and you buy another one. And then the way that you set it up, you're not supposed to be above zero, but yes, you have a very, very small loss on both sides, a smaller loss, and some profit somewhere in the middle. And a straddle will have infinite loss on both sides. This one has cap loss. You can be much narrower, and that would be where you have tiny amount of profit but very small loss. But then so that's the one I said about extremely narrow, meaning that you have almost no loss if you are wrong, but you're wrong so often. All of this is red, and you have a tiny, tiny sliver to make a tiny bit of amount. So that is, maybe someone can think of this as a hedge to a straddle. They can think of this as a kind of call spread, put together, or in that case, it's a butterfly where you have protection on the downside, but limited potential. But yeah, if
you want to be safer, then do you drag those long puts out wider?
No, if you want to be safer, you go very, very narrow and you have like no losses. If you want to be extremely profit maximizing, and again, maybe the 1 month, you can still be quite wide and you may make as much as a straddle, but you have protection. So, whereas if you just don't buy anything, oh yeah, that's fine. It's a straddle. You can actually the fact that you have no protection gives you more returns. The fact that you buy protection decreases kind of your max profit. So it's all kind of again. I just wanted to show the shape of that, but it's straddle is like that, but then you can buy the wings to create that butterfly.
Okay, very cool. And you can do this with puts or calls, or
Yeah,
just traditional?
the all puts or all calls, and if it's a puts and calls together, it's an iron butterfly, which is a
Oh,
derivative of the iron condor. I don't know why iron, but
that's powerful.
I know. But it's
Maybe
because
it's
you're trading in the money options, and typically these are maybe less liquid. So that's why you go the iron version. Iron, you can do a condor or a butterfly, all puts all calls, or a iron condor, butterfly, which is the mix of the two.
Okay, well, we might need a deep dive on iron condors another time, but we will go back to the markets. We have some big news items that I'll cover before we are at the hour here. So USDC Circle, the issuer of the company behind the USDC stablecoin, is filing for an IPO with the SEC. Yeah, they have underwriters, JP Morgan, Chase, Citigroup. And if you had to guess their valuation based on their revenue, they reported 1.68 billion in revenue last year. And net income, they reported $156 million, which was about almost half as much as they had made the year before. So they're a little bit down on their net income last year.
I mean, the
But,
DPEG,
yeah.
I think people, so yeah, the fact that they messed up.
When was the DPEG?
I think it was
that
last
last
year. So I think that maybe last third of 2023 and then all of 2024 or whatever. Now I don't know. I would expect that
I'm scared off
Yeah.
some big users.
I think they do treasuries investment like even USDT, but yeah, good on them. The Coinbase had a big share. We know a bit more about that now because they filed some public filings. But yeah, interesting.
That's the nice thing, yeah, about IPOs. We have more transparency. So their valuation, what do you think if you had to take a step?
And I have no idea. More than Uniswap, let's say. I don't know what Uniswap's token valuation is, but I would put Circle a bit higher than that.
What is Uniswap's market cap right now? And also, so Deribit, I think we discussed last week, they were being rumored around 4 to 5 billion.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, and Uniswap is almost 4 billion. Interesting. So
4 billion. Okay.
I'll put it,
so
same level as Deribit.
Same. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. People are discussing around $5 billion valuation,
which is great. I think a lot of folks they were in Boston for a while. Johnny, our employee, was also working at Circle for a while. But yeah, the good on them. It's good to have
taking it to the big stage. Moved from Boston to the Big Apple. Bought a big building.
Yes.
How's it feel to be? Yeah, I think the Boston crowd is a bit smaller now these days, but
Panoptics here. We're gonna take over the Seaport. No, I'm kidding. Seaport sucks. No, don't at me if you listen to this. Boston's great. No, again, it's fine. More the tech IPOs have dried up, and I mean, you don't see manufacturing IPOs. You haven't in like decades. So yeah, crypto is the next frontier. But yeah, I don't know if the traditional route is what most protocols and teams will do, or token launches and be happy with that. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Kraken. Do you think Kraken? They've been kind of toying with IPO versus like the Ink token.
No, I think they'll do the token. They
shouldn't
waste any resources doing the IPO route.
It's expensive, right? So
and the access is what you buy, more or less. You buy access to public markets, public funds, but the tokens can be way more liquid, way easier to access. That's why maybe the SEC used to hate them, but yeah.
Yeah, and is that like a lot of people are saying, oh, why didn't USDC do a token instead? You know, there's
Circle,
probably be valued higher. Do you think that's the case, that a token will bring a higher valuation? And is that because of the accessibility or something else?
You become a global company if you have a token. You're not limited. Even the US
Yeah.
market is still pretty huge, but if you're a company that's not based in the US, do you do an IPO in your country, or you a token that taps into all of these markets? So
What if you did an IPO and then tokenized the security?
no, that's right. That the stock market and the SEC owns that IP. If you want, they won't allow you to do this.
Do they? Okay. Well, we have some words from Kraken themselves. I don't know because it was posted on April Fool's Day, but who was it? I believe.
Oh wait, do you have some receipts? Yeah, what did they say?
Yes, let's see here. I will share this screen. Commenting on this trend, maybe indirectly. One sec. So I can share this tokenized equities right here. Yeah, so we have kind of a report by the Kraken co-CEO, Arjun. So they recently acquired NinjaTrader, which is a futures trading platform. We covered this in our last options hour, so they're going big on the derivatives route, but they were commenting on equities, and I thought this comment was particularly interesting in the interview, saying that speaking on all these stable coins going big because they're commenting on this IPO with USD with Circle. If you just bring one tokenized equity, it will be larger than everything we have with this stable coin. And now you bring 50, 500, whatever, and then you add futures and options on top of that. So this is going to be huge. So it gives us some indication of what Kraken is thinking and kind of maybe why they're acquiring these derivatives exchanges and potentially pushing in this direction of tokenized equity.
I mean, do you want to see your stock getting traded 9 to 5 by a limited amount of traders, and you have to spend like billions in listing fees on the IPO, or you want to see it 24/7, permissionless, panoptic options, perpetual options, a lot of good, like it's a strictly better offering, I'd say. So that's why I say that even as a company, like again, this is me talking in the private citizen role, but companies may find it a better deal overall to have a token that's liquid, tradable, extremely transparent too, I guess. So the whole thing is you don't need earnings every quarter. You can see it day to day.
Yeah, just way less friction.
Yeah.
So much more efficient. But yes, so maybe options will be this year, or maybe we need the spot first, but we'll see. Kraken is very bullish on this. Finally, to conclude it, we have some big news, less in the options world, but in the LP world of the Uniswap DAO. So big proposals. There was a big funding proposal that came out before, and just recently another proposal that passed the temperature check to have a treasury delegation to help boost governance participation. So basically the proposal is something like giving up to 18 million uni tokens to a handful of delegates who are potentially underrepresented but very active. So it sounds like this is a governance issue that they're trying to combat to help the process better. Is this? I mean, I think you're a delegate yourself. Have you seen this proposal, and are there any comments you'd like to make?
No, maybe not one of those active delegates that would get the money. I think it's fine. It's hard to incentivize. It's hard to know like what works. We're in this kind of early phase of like governance and on chain, and you have these politicians at some point that do this for the public good. I guess they get paid. They have some real stuff to do. They have kind of budgets. I can imagine if all of it is kind of for free, and then you just do this as a volunteer, might be less interesting for you to do it. And some of these delegates have delegations to multiple DAOs. Could be like Arbitrum, Optimism, all of these DAOs. So there might be a lot to do, again, given your day job. So I can imagine that is a good way to incentivize / increase the throughput and quality of what happens. Sometimes because it's also volunteer, you have a lot of folks that don't have anything better to do to chime in. So again, that could help with getting good level of involvement and activity. But yeah, I'd say that we pay politicians to some extent to do their job. So we're not at the level where And same thing with board members. You have to have some compensation. So it's part of the. You cannot do this for free forever. So it's part of the way that, again, human being work. So yeah, I think I'm somewhat supportive. I wouldn't do it for just getting paid, but it helps if you have something that can offset the time you put there. But yeah.
Yeah, and to clarify, I'm not sure if the proposal actually proposes paying any delegates. I think it's saying that if you've been a very active delegate, we'll give you even more voting power. So we'll delegate
Oh,
more
I see. Yeah.
towards your votes. But yeah, I mean, you outlined a very
Oh, I see. I see.
humble
Okay, I got it
problem.
wrong. So you don't get tokens for them to sell, but rather they get delegation.
Yeah, I think you just get delegated more, so your share goes up.
So you still do it for free, I guess, but you have more power. This is fine.
So I'm not sure if maybe they've had issues with hitting temperature check thresholds or like proposal. Maybe
No, that's right. If you have like the same 50 people voting, but they don't collectively have enough to pass the threshold, but they are very active and well informed, but yes, it makes sense to boost their weight, because the whales that don't do anything with the tokens kind of aren't using that token for any use case.
Yeah, it's just like all of California just sits out and never shows up to Congress to vote. So okay,
How's voting in Salt Lake in Utah? I don't do they.
I think probably the same. Like a lot of mail-in ballots, of course, in these more rural or like more suburban type states, right? So that's definitely a bigger part, but I don't know if it's any.
I mean, I
quite
guess
different.
even New York a little bit, but California. I'm from Massachusetts, and it's like blue all the way. And I don't know if I think the red states are still maybe voting, even though they don't feel like their vote doesn't have as much weight. Again, some people will say, I'm from Massachusetts. No, no reason to show up to vote Democrats because all my neighbors do it. But yes, I think that the red states are a lot more responsible in that sense. That's why they show up.
Yeah. They kind of they just show up and do what they want rather than think of like how statistically significant their impact is or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is it for the options hour. So we've covered quite a lot of cool market events and potentially what's going on there with the options markets and how you might trade for intern. So not financial advice. Nothing here is financial advice. Please do your own research. But we're very happy to be covering the trades on Panoptic on Friday. So stay tuned for the best and worst trades of the week, as well as another stop losing, start trading episode. Yes. But any other announcements or anything you'd like our audience?
No, the team is cooking, so be on the lookout for some announcements. Nothing I can say now, but yes, definitely some cool stuff happening.
Sweet. Well, subscribe to our newsletter. We do have a monthly newsletter that will be coming out very soon. This week it comes out each month, covering kind of the major company and events that are going on. And I know the team will be at a couple of conferences coming up. We're just at the Digital Asset Summit in New York, and of course, summer hits. There'll be more conferences. So do stay tuned and subscribe to our newsletter. You can access it on panoptic.xyz. There's a newsletter box. You put your email and you get the latest updates each month.
Yeah, thanks very much, Brendan and Rosalie as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday. Both Brendan